You went to the SPHL right after your college season. How'd you get there?
My coach at Westfield, our assistant coach Mike Young, he did a lot of recruiting for me and my roommate. We were the only two seniors graduating, and he did the legwork for us. And once our season ended, we got a phone call from Fayetteville. We both took off down there and stayed there for a bit.
And then you ended up in Danbury the next season. How did that transpire?
Actually, I was at Roanoke's camp, and I was released from there, and then I didn't really have anywhere to go, so I reached out to Danbury, and on my way back, they said, yeah, come on up. So I stopped there and did training camp with them, and then next thing you know, I'm playing in the FPHL.
Yeah, and do you remember your first game with Danbury?
Yeah, I do. It's actually pretty funny because Johnny and Matt, they both teased me with it, but it was against Berlin in Danbury, and I was kind of third, second line, and probably had about 7 breakaways that game, and I actually only buried on 1. It was the OT winner, so it was pretty cool to be my first professional goal, and it was just a relieving that I finally scored on a breakaway.
Yeah, you mentioned you played with Graham and Johnny there. How did you guys build a relationship and everything while you were there?
Yeah, I walked in the locker room the first time, and Matt was sitting beside me in the stalls, and we just hit it right off, and then Alex was couple stalls over, and then we ended up living in the same house all year, and it just became a big friendship from there. It was a great connection that we all three of us had, and it was just something that just clearly lived on.
So then, what brought you to Carolina the next year?
So Danbury dispersed. They kind of folded, so they had a dispersal draft, and I was picked up by them, Carolina, in the draft. I was down there for, I want to say, 6 games. Just wasn't really fitting into what Andre wanted as a style of play, and then I was shipped out.
Were you looking to go join Graham and Johnny in Port Huron, or did that just work out?
It just worked out. It was funny because we were actually at a team bowling event, and Graham texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to come play in Port Huron?" And I was in shock. I was like, "Well, I mean, you're there. Yeah, why wouldn't I?" And he's like, well, you're on the chopping block, the trade block, essentially. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, but do you want to come play here? And I said, well, yeah, absolutely. Next thing you know, the next day I was traded, and I was on my way up here.
And that 2018-19 season, 43 goals, 105 points, your best statistical year in the Fed. Well, everything just clicked for you that year?
Everything just seemed to go the right way. I was playing with Matt Robertson, who, he was a great player. He was smart. And then Zach Solkanich was our centerman, and he just was a big body that opened the ice. And it would just seem that we just knew exactly where each other were going to be on the ice, and it all just clicked. And take away for a second from me, but Matt Robertson also had over 100 points too. Our line was, dominant all year long, and it was very easy to play with those two and make that season what it was.
You also recently scored your 200th goal in the FPHL. Just was hitting that milestone mean to you?
It means a lot. It puts me up with some good players like Tyler Church. He's a natural goal scorer. And Oliver Foose, he's played in the league for years, and he's put up what he's put up. But it was definitely something, because as players you set goals for yourself, and for the longest time it wasn't anything that I was really kind of looking at, but then it was brought up to me yo, you're only 5 goals away from this, and I was like, wow, that'd be actually really cool. And then when I did it, to do it here at home was even special.
You're also going to be playing in game number 300 at home, so how special is that going to be?
It hasn't hit me yet. To me, I think it's just another game, but it's a big milestone. It's to play 300 professional games. It definitely shows that you can play in the league. You can also play at a high level. 300 games. Think about it. That's a lot of games. Considering we only play 56, 58 games a year, it means I've been in this league a long time.
What are some of your favorite memories from your time in the Fed?
Some of the favorite memories, it definitely have to be building those bonds with players over the years and staying connected with most of them, like Jonathan Giuliano, who plays on Motor City. He was a good guy, helped me out when I needed some help, and keeping those contacts and keeping that friendship is definitely something. And then obviously all the milestones that I've personally hit, and even what the team has also done.